Hello and welcome to Yoga with Glenn. I'm Glenn. Welcome to Yoga for Golfers. Golf is great for getting outside, for being social, but there is an aspect of athleticism to it, and incorporating yoga into your golf routine can really help you be more flexible in that drive or any shot you take. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new here, hop in some comfy clothes, hop on a mat, or find a space where you have room to move around, and let's get started. To begin our Yoga for Golfers flow today, meet me down on your mat, either on a bolster or some pillows. I have a blanket under my ankles just for some added comfort. The reason for the bolster or pillows is just to make things a little bit easier in this cross-legged seated position, just to raise the hips off the ground. That way we're not bunched up. But a nice tall spine, open chest, hands on the knees if you're able, and then we can establish a breath from here. It's important to establish your breath at the beginning of any yoga flow. If you're in a tricky pose and you're really focusing on how much it may hurt or how hard it is, returning to your breath is always something you can do, and that'll help carry you through these postures. So to do that, let's exhale, let everything go, really forcing that belly button towards the spine. And then with an inhale, feel the belly, ribs expand outward, chest lifts up, and then exhale. Let everything go, really forcing all of the air out. Another inhale, belly, ribs, chest, and then exhale, chest, ribs, belly, forcing all of that air out. It should be smooth, should be prolonged, and you should feel fulfilled with air. And then exhale, smooth, letting everything go. Now return to a natural breath if we want to keep that rhythm of breath throughout this practice. Breathing through the posture, I'll give you cues on when to inhale, when to exhale. Now let's begin our movement as we circle the arms up, touching the hands overhead, and then we'll drop one side and start to bend over to the other side, really feeling a stretch in the side of the body here. The other hand can be placed on the ground or on your pillow for support. Really lengthening through the side of the body. And then with an inhale, bring the other arm up, and then the opposite, drop the other arm, bend over to the other side. If you can, keep this palm down and maybe rotate the shoulders so you're bringing that top shoulder back a little bit, opening the chest. Inhale up, same thing, opposite side. Take a bend. And then inhale, come up, connect the hands, and then exhale one more time as we bend over to the opposite side. Really feel that stretch here in the side of the body. And then inhale, come up, and then take a twist to that opposite side. So the front arm, you'll connect the hand on the thigh, twisting. You don't have to really force it, but bring the chin towards that back shoulder. And then inhale, both arms come up, and then exhale, twist to the opposite side. Back hand on the ground or on your pillow for support. Front hand on the opposite thigh, chin towards the back. Inhale, arms come up, and then same thing, one last time, opposite side. Inhale, come up, back to center, and then exhale, opposite side for that twist. Come back up to the center, raise the arms above the head, and then we'll come off of our yoga props here, or pillows, or blanket, whatever you have, and then come down onto all fours. If you'd like to keep that blanket you may have had, put it under your knees for some more comfort, you can do that. What coming onto all fours, it's called table posture. We're stacking the shoulders over the wrists. We're stacking the hips over the knees. And with an inhale, we'll drop these hips forward, tilt them forward as we lift the chest and chin. This is cat pose, and then we'll do the opposite. We'll tuck from the hips. Rest of the spine follows as we press through the ground, pressing our spine up towards the sky and chin eventually falling towards the chest. And this is cat pose, making the shape like a cat would when it does its little stretch. And then same thing, starting from the hips, tilt the hips forward. Imagine pointing the tailbone up to the sky, and then the rest of the spine follows very slowly with an inhale. This helps warm up the spine, helps get each vertebrae using it and flexing it all through the spine, and then the opposite. So we'll tuck from the hips first, really pressing through, making that sort of upside down U shape with the body, chin falling towards the chest. And then back to that cow pose. So tilt the hips forward and work your way slowly up the spine with an inhale. And then exhale from the hips. Tuck the hips, press through the ground. Spine up towards the sky, and eventually chin will fall towards the chest. And then come back to a neutral table posture, neutral all fours. And we'll take our right hand, bring it out to the side, palm facing down. And with an inhale, we'll extend up to the sky, try to twist as much as you can. And then this is called thread the needle. We're going to bring this right arm, bring it underneath the left armpit, and resting as much of your arm on the ground as possible. If you need to, you can sort of raise the ground, taking a prop or a blanket, pillow, whatever you have. Just raise the ground up a little bit if the first variation was inaccessible to you. This is called a thread the needle twist from table posture. So our hips are still stacked over our knees, supporting ourselves with this hand here. Bring the chin down towards the chest a little bit just for some comfort in the neck. You know, as a golfer, you need to have a lot of flexibility in the upper body, the backswing and the foreswing. This can help really stretch the shoulders, really turning the torso. If you're struggling through this posture, it's a good time to come back to that breath. Fulfilling inhales from the belly, and then full exhales, getting all of the air out. We won't be here too much longer. Maybe 2 more breaths. Begin to press your left hand in the ground, take off some weights, and then we'll take that counter twist again. Inhaling up and then exhale. Bring the hand back down. Readjust yourself if you need to. And then we'll do the same thing on the opposite side. So we'll raise this left arm out, palm facing down. And with an inhale, when you're ready, twist up as much as you can. And then exhale, threading this needle through. Or this would be the thread, I guess. The under the arm would be the needle. And rest that upper arm on the ground or on something if you can't quite reach the ground with your upper arm. Remember the chin, bring it down towards the chest just for some comfort. And this opposite hand, you can give yourself as much or as little support as you need to lighten the stretch or intensify the stretch. And remember to breathe. If you don't have experience with intentional breathing, you can start with a 4-second inhale, followed by a 4-second exhale. You can breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth, or in and out through the nose. Whatever's comfortable for you. Just a couple breaths to go here in this posture. And begin to press yourself up off the ground. Bring this arm back through with an inhale, twist up, looking up towards the fingers. And then exhale, setting it down on the ground. Now from this tabletop, or table posture, all fours, make sure the toes are tucked. And then we're going to press our hips up, pressing our chest back towards the thighs. You can adjust yourself to wherever's comfortable for you. Have some space between the ears and the shoulders. Trying to press the heels close to the ground if you're able to. If not, that's okay. You can see my heels are pretty far from the ground. But pressing through the ground with the hands. Shake the head, yes. Wiggle it, no. Make sure the neck is nice and loose. This is downward facing dog. And then from here, we can raise our left leg in the air. This is three-legged dog. So lift it straight back. Look in between your hands, and that's where you're going to put your foot with an exhale. Bring that foot through. If you're not able to do that, just go back down to table posture and put your foot there as best as you can. And from here, this is called a runner's lunge in yoga. We're going to bring this left hand, bring it on the inside of this leg. And you might feel a little bit of a stretch here on the inside of the thighs, left thigh in particular. This is really opening up the hips. If you can't quite reach your hands on the ground, you can always put something underneath your hands just to raise the ground up a little bit, make it a little bit more accessible for you. Really straightening this back leg as best you can, pressing the hips down towards the ground. And if you're able to, stack your hand on top of your knee, and we'll take a twist, looking up towards the sky, twisting over this bent knee. And if you've done any kind of athletic stretching before, you might know this as world's greatest stretch. But in yoga, it's a revolved runner's lunge, or runner's lunge with a twist. And exhale back down. Place the knee back on the ground. Bring the hands around the side of the body, and then we'll come back and we'll get a good stretch on this left hamstring here. Trying to get your chest as close as to thigh as possible. It doesn't have to be touching the thigh. Just a couple seconds here, and then we'll shift back forward, bring the back knee back up off the ground. And if you're able to go right back into that three-legged dog, you can. But if not, you can drop the knee, come back into table posture, and then press yourself back into that downward facing dog. Fix your down dog if you need to. Adjust your hands, your feet. Pressing the chest towards the thighs, loose in the neck. And then when you're ready with an inhale, lift the right leg for three-legged dog. Look in between your hands, and that's where you're going to step your foot. If you're able to, bring that right hand around to the inside this time.
Keeping this back leg straight and trying to really press the hips down to the ground, really opening up the hips here. And after a few breaths here, we can take that twist. So when you're ready, stack the arm, elbow above the wrist, and then take that twist towards the bent knee, looking up at the sky. A breath or two here. And then on an exhale, return yourself back down. Bring this back knee to the ground, and we'll do the same with the hamstring. We'll walk ourselves back. You can keep the back toes tucked if you want. But try to bring the toes of the front foot back towards the face. That'll intensify this stretch on the hamstring. And then try to reach your chest down towards the thighs. And then bring yourself back into that runner's lunge. Place the hand back on the outside of the foot. And if you're able to, press yourself back into that three-legged dog. And then downward dog. If not, just make your way into downward facing dog. And once you're there, take a breath or two. And then on an exhale, drop the knees down to the mat, back in this table posture. And then we'll bring the front foot in between the hands. For this low lunge, bring the shoulders up over the thighs. Place the left hand on the left thigh for just a little bit of added support, and we'll take a twist in this low lunge. So bring this arm up overhead to the side, and then look back and try to see your back foot. If you can see the bottom of your back foot, that's great. Adjust anything you need to adjust. And we're really twisting in the spine. We're lengthening the side of the right side of the body. And inhale, come back up. And exhale, twisting over to the side. Breathing in this posture if it's difficult for you. So revolved low lunge. And after an exhale, inhale, come back up. Drop the hand, drop the chest towards this knee here. Plant the hands, and then we'll switch. Coming back into table posture. Bring the opposite leg forward, the opposite foot forward. And we'll rise up into a low lunge, stacking the shoulders over the hips, pointing the hips forward if you can. Taking this right arm, placing it on the right thigh, right knee, and then we'll lift the left arm, and then we'll do the same, twisting, sort of arching back, really getting a good stretch all the way from the thigh, from the hip, all the way up the side of the body, and breathing, and then trying to locate that back foot. If you can catch a glimpse of your back foot, I'd say you're doing pretty good. Remember to breathe, using your breath to get you through this posture. After an exhale, we'll inhale, come back up, and then one more time, exhaling, twisting. And after a couple breaths, after an exhale, we'll inhale, come back up, bring the arms back down, bring the chest back down to this front knee. Place the hands, and then bring this back leg back. Swing the legs around, come on to your bottom. Bring yourself towards the front of your mat a little bit. Soles of the feet on the ground, extend the arms out, and then slowly roll back.
Once your back touches the ground, the back of your head touches the ground. Float your feet off the ground and bring the knees into the chest and give yourself a big hug. Hopefully the hips are feeling loosened up, the upper body's feeling loosened up. Now, if you're able to, bring the bottom of the feet towards the ceilings, almost like you're doing a squat on the ceiling, and bring the elbows on the inside of the knees, grabbing either the ankle, the bottom of the foot, or if you want to do it yoga style, take your 2 fingers, the peace fingers, and wrap them around your toes, bringing the knees towards the armpits. And in yoga, this is happy baby pose. It's a great stretch on the hips. It can be a playful posture if you like to rock side to side. And play around with the feet position. You can extend one leg, extend the other. And just relax here in this happy baby. Make sure you're breathing, feeling a good stretch in the inside of the thigh. And then take your elbows on the outside of your knees, bring your knees into your chest one last time. Give yourself a hug and then bring the knees away from you and bring the feet up so you're making sort of this 90-degree angle with the knees here. And then drop the legs over to the right side, trying to keep that 90-degree angle in this supine twist. You can bring this left arm out to a T, and if you like, you can take your right arm and just sort of rest it on the thighs. That way they stay together if they're not already. It's a great way to wind down in your yoga session, especially if it was a very active one. This one wasn't very active, but still did some great stretches that'll help you with your golf game. Remember to breathe in this posture. And the shape you make with your body is less important than how it makes your body feel. As long as you're feeling the stretch. And after an exhale, return your right hand, if you had it on your thigh, return it out to the ground. And then inhale, float your knees back up to center. And then drop them to the opposite side. I'm just going to scoot my hips over, but trying to keep that 90-90 if possible. Opposite arm out to a T, using this left arm sort of as just a weight. You don't have to put any pressure on it at all. Feeling the stretch through the side of the body, feeling it through the hips, and breathing into this posture. Exhaling, letting everything out, forcing the air out, and then inhale from the belly. One more breath to go. Make it a good one. Inhale, filling the belly, ribs and chest. And then exhale, chest, ribs, belly, forcing all of the air out. If you have your hand on your thigh, release, and then inhale. Float the knees back up and place the feet
on the ground, and then just kind of roll your whole body over to one side. Use your arm as a pillow here, sort of in this recovery posture, this fetal posture. Since we were on our back, we don't want to sit up straight away. We might get lightheaded because of this. So this posture just gives us a second to just catch up, let the blood return to where it needs to return to. And then when you're ready, you can press yourself up, come onto your bottom, come into an easy cross-legged seated position. If you need that bolster or pillow again, you can grab it just to raise the hips off the ground. If not, join me here in your easy seats. I really hope you enjoyed this practice today. You can do this practice before or after your golf game. And it really helps, with trunk mobility, helps open those hips, helps get nice and flexible, help with that golf swing. Let's take one last breath together as we close out this practice. So circle the arms up, bring the palms overhead, and then bring the hands down in the center of the chest. We call this heart center in yoga. Thank you so much for joining me. The light in me sees the light in you. Namaste. That's what namaste means. I'll see you next time.